Ooh, that's nice. That's real nice. Boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Mark's Easy Eats. Now, I'm from Sydney, and in Sydney today, it is freezing as fuck. I woke up today, it's finally hit the low degrees, it's about 4 or 5 degrees, freezing cold. Bit of the sniffles, shit weather, everyone's sick. What do we want for dinner? I'll tell you what we want. We want a chicken noodle soup. And today I'm gonna show you exactly how to make it in the best way possible. And as usual, it's gonna be over the top, but it is gonna be great. And I promise you're gonna love it. Stick with me. All right, now before we start this delicious recipe, I just want to say thank you so much for watching the videos, guys. The views are getting out of hand and I really appreciate it. Like the video, subscribe for more videos, share it with your friends. We're on this journey together. Now, I'm not a professional chef by any stretch of the word at all. If anything, I'm self-taught, wing it as you go. We're gonna go along and make shit together, make it really fun, all right? Let's get straight into the ingredients. Now, I've got a fair few here today, but we're gonna make this a banger recipe. So we don't wanna do something half-assed. We're gonna make veggie soup with noodles and chicken into something special. Now, obviously, let's start off really quickly. We've got some chicken breast. I've got about half a kilo. You can use the thigh meat, probably does taste better, but chicken breast is what we got. That's what we're gonna use. Some bay leaf. I've got a couple garlic cloves, maybe 3 or 4 crushed up. We got some grated ginger, there's 2 of rosemary, some parsley for garnish at the end, chili flakes. I've got some coriander ground seeds here. Now, in terms of the veggies we're gonna use, I've got shallots. I love these. I mean, you can use yellow onions or red onions, I suppose, finely chopped. Got some carrots, got some celery, we got some brown potatoes that we've cut up. Now, some baby broccoli, just got the little florets of them. Yeah, we're gonna go some frozen corn and peas at this point. Who cares? It tastes pretty good. Some of this button mushrooms that we've quartered up. Now, some chicken stock, olive oil. We do have, and I wouldn't be me unless we're cooking with wine here whenever we get the chance, some Pinot Grigio, or some Pinot Gris, whatever you got. Just something dry that's a white wine is gonna, it's got a bit of a surprise factor. It's gonna make it work. Extra virgin olive oil. We are gonna add some butter at some point. Guys, let's get into this cracker of a recipe. Boys and girls, let's get started. I've got my cooker here. Got a nice decent sized pot. Now the idea is the more you set up and the more you get ready ahead, by cutting up your veggies, doing what you gotta do to get everything ready, the easier it is, because once you start, the first few minutes is just one after the other. It's all happening at once. So be prepared, makes a difference. Now, first thing I wanna do is turn this guy on. We're gonna start by searing the chicken. I wanna get some color on it. Now the aim is not to cook it all the way through, but to get some nice color on it. Once there's some nice color, we'll take it off and put it aside. Let's do it. Ooh, hello. A little bit of olive oil to start with. Now for me, if I'm gonna get this seared nice and crisply, I want a little bit of pepper. Ooh, big chunks, but doesn't matter. You got your chicken piece, put a touch of salt and pepper, just because that's what's gonna cause that crusting around it. Now this is a 1-pot recipe, so everything's gonna go into the 1 pot. That's the other good thing about a chicken noodle soup. All right, now that it's hot enough, let's get this chicken in there. If you can hear that sizzle, it means we're good. Again, the idea is not to cook it all the way through. We're just gonna sear it, get some beautiful color. Now, once it's seared enough, you'll find that the chicken won't stick as much. It'll be easy to lift off. Oh, look at that color. Now I'm just trying to get color on all the sides, guys, so I'm holding it with the tongs, just flipping it around. Now, as you can see, that beautiful crust, that nice color. Once we get that, whack it in a plate. And we are good to go, and that's what it looks like. Now I can turn the fire off just for the second, that's all good. Now that we've seared that chicken, we put it onto the side. As you can see, there's a lot of this brown stuff stuck on there. Now this stuff is going to be delicious flavor that we're gonna add back into it. We're gonna deglaze the pan, as they say. We're gonna scrub it back in, it's gonna be good. Let's get that pan back on. Now this time around, stainless steel pot. I don't want the heat to be too high, so I'm gonna go medium to medium high heat at this point, right? Everything's gonna happen at once. We've gotta be a bit quick. First thing I wanna do is chuck in a bit of butter, get it melted in there. 25 grams or so, doesn't really matter too much. A little bit in there. Now, what we can do as well is add a fresh bit of oil. Now, I'm using olive oil, but again, canola oil, veg oil, probably better when it comes to this, just because they have a less burning potential. Now, the oil is also good here because it stops the butter from burning. Now, once that's in there and it's melting, I'm gonna go in with these shallots that I've cut up. Now, we're not trying to cook these the whole way through and get them to go brown and change into that color, but once they start sweating out a little bit, we're gonna start by adding, bit by bit, we're gonna incorporate these veggies. We're gonna put in the stuff that takes longer to cook and takes longer to soften first. So once that shallot has started going, next on the list is our carrots. And you know what, while we're here, let's chuck in the celery. Again, the more prepared you are, much easier. Do it like they do it on TV, just, you know, one after the other, very good. Now the last thing I'm gonna add here is the mushrooms for now. Ooh, you know what? Let's get the potatoes in here. Done. Mushrooms, potatoes in here. Now in terms of the order, guys, improvise, who cares? You can see I'm not gonna chuck in the broccoli right now because it's added too prematurely. It's not gonna be great. It's gonna end up being, you know, like it's gonna change its color, it's gonna get burned. It's not gonna be the nice little bite-sized crispy broccoli that we're all after. Now we'll let that cook off and soften for a little bit. This process probably takes, I'd say, close to 4-ish to 6-ish minutes. Now at this point, things are starting to soften up. We're gonna go in with the grated ginger and we're gonna go in with the crushed garlic. And the reason why we're doing this now and not earlier is because, guys, I don't want this to burn. I want a nice flavor. I don't know if you've ever tried burnt garlic, but don't, it tastes like shit. Now as things are softening up here and coming together, what we're gonna do, we're gonna add about 500 mils, give or take, of white wine. Now, you gotta use a dry white wine. In this case, I'm using again, a Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris, whatever you wanna call it. Now, when that's in there, we wanna do what they're calling the glaze the pan. That's we're gonna scrape everything off the bottom. And that's gonna be some delicious flavors you're gonna thank me for later. Once the white wine is in there, the idea is we want to cook off that wine acidity, get rid of the alcohol from this. So guys, if you're making this for your children, obviously when you burn off the alcohol, it's going to be fine, as long as you let it reduce. So right now it's on the heat. Just the smell of that wine and these vegetables together, my goodness. Now what I want to do is add a crack of salt and pepper. At this point, let's get it seasoned a little bit. Let's let these veggies taste it. Salt, pepper, give it another mix. Now, the spices I'm getting ready for the next step is very simple. We've got rosemary, I've got bay leaves, ground coriander. Give it a crack. I mean, if you want to be extra fancy, chuck in some ground cumin too. That's not a bad tip, with a bit of lemon towards the end. I'm not doing it in this recipe, but if I did, not a bad idea, Marky Mark. We've been simmering now for about 5 minutes, give or take. Now, that wine is almost reduced. All right, guys, we'll reduce this by about 50% minimum, around 70% give or take. It's getting to the point where it's almost done. I'm just gonna chuck in that broccoli. Let it taste some of these concentrated juices. Quarter and peas, get in there. Give these guys a bit of a mixeroo. All right, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to add my chicken stock. Now, I'm assuming here, just purely mathematically looking at this thing, I'd say about 2 liters, maybe 2 and a touch liters of stock. Now that's my 1 liter. Let's get this 2nd liter in there. Now once that's all in there, give her a gentle mix. We're gonna come in with our first ingredient right now, which is that ground coriander I mentioned. Beautiful. Now, quantity-wise, I put about 2 teaspoons. 2 teaspoons, it should be enough. It is pretty pungent. Not pungent, pungent? It's pretty strong. It's pretty strong. Rosemary, in. Now I'm gonna use 1.5 bay leaves, or I suppose 2 bay leaves. Now I wanna bring this up to a boil as quick as possible. So I'm gonna turn the heat right up. And what I wanna do, as my teachers told me in school, put a lid on it. Let it come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, what we want to do is turn it down to a simmer. Now, it's not going to be an angry simmer. a gentle simmer, sort of like a bolognese, little bubble here, bubble there, maybe a bit more aggressive than that one. But we want to get a lid on so we can really steam this stuff up. We'll get it cooked. Sweet, now it's come to a boil finally. So now the idea is we want to turn this fire down and let's get it to a simmer. Now, as we bring this down to a simmer, much easier pace as you can see now, let's reintroduce our chicken. Come on, down boy. That's better. Chicken 1, chicken 2. Guys, this is about half a kilogram of breast chicken that we're using here. The chicken is in. Now we're gonna put the lid back on. We're gonna let it simmer. We're talking about 20 to 25 minutes. It's been about 20 minutes. I'm gonna come and check it out, give it a bit of a stir. Now we wanna be doing that occasionally. Now the idea is we wanna make sure that chicken is cooked all the way through. I don't want no raw chicken tonight. No, sorry, no, we do not. Give it a stir. Now the other thing you can do at this point is definitely, by all means, grab a spoon. Taste it. Does it need more salt? Does it need more pepper? Let's get some of this chicken. I've got a fork and a spork. Let's see what we can do. I'm just stabbing it through here. Do a bit of a pierce. Have a look. Now, guys, that's pretty well. That's perfect. I mean, what else do you want? What else do you want? Whoa, that is good. I've got the chicken here on the side. I'm just gonna pull it apart slowly, bit by bit. Now with your fingers, obviously it's a bit easier and it's a bit better. Guys, once we've estimated, we've got about 2 minutes left of pulling this chicken apart. What I wanna do is get these noodles in. Now this is enough for 3 to 4 people, so they say on the packaging. And I reckon 2 minutes to get this cooked. Boys and girls, chicken cut up. Noodles have been there for about 1.5 minutes. And in we go. Now give this a little bit of a mix now, especially now that the noodles are in there. Now it doesn't matter what sort of noodles you use. I mean, I've seen people use eggshell pasta, macaroni, these little tiny bits. The elbow, that's what I'm thinking. The elbow pasta. Who cares? Chuck whatever. Even I mean, if you game it up, chuck spaghetti in here. Point is, with every delicious mouthful, you're gonna get a bit of chicken, veggies, delicious soup. This is very hearty. Now, the last thing I'm going to mention is that this is just about done. I can turn the fire off, which in fact, I will do it. 2 things I'm gonna do now. First things first, I'm going to add chili flakes. This is going to spice it up just that little bit. Now do it to taste. I love chili. I've gone into a whole teaspoon, maybe 2, maybe a bit more. After we've done that, we're gonna garnish it with a little bit of chopped parsley. Get that right in there, give it a mix. What this is gonna do, it's gonna make it nice and fresh. There's nice, beautiful mouthpiece. There's nice little mouthfuls. For my liking, I don't mind the thickness that it's a bit runny. Now, if you guys want to make this a bit more hearty and a bit thicker, what you can do, get some corn flour. Get some corn flour. Mix this in about, 1/4 cup of water, mix it thoroughly. Put that right in here, it's gonna thicken her up, right in the last minute of cooking. All right, guys, it's done. I mean, it's delicious, it's so good. The noodles, the celery, the chicken. I literally drink this sauce morning and night. Another thing you can do, break off some bread, dip it in there. Guys, if you like what you had to see today, subscribe for more. Give me a big thumbs up. Share it. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Come along with me on the journey, guys. Again, no training here. We're just working together. We're gonna journey, bring out the big recipes, make them easy for you and I at home. We're gonna make some great things. Stay tuned. I promise there's more to come. I'll catch you on the next episode.